Hello viewers, welcome to the UN College Digital Class and YouTube channel of Udayanath Autonomous College of Science and Technology. We are going to start an interesting paper, that is Business and Financial Environment. So what a business is, what is the financial environment, and what are the institutions, the support systems, the international bodies of governance, the international bodies of regulators. So there are many things which is there in business and with the running of business. So what this business environment is, what this business is, and what is this business and financial environments, we are going to read in this entire paper. So before going to start this paper, let's first understand that what actually this business is. Every now and then we are hearing this term business, and the studies that we are doing or we are carrying on is on the doing of the business, dealing with the business. So what this business is actually is, that is what we are going to read in today's lecture, that what is this business, what is the nature of this business, what are the characteristics of this business, and what is the present scenario or the current scenario of the business that we are going to read in today's class. Let's first understand that what is a business. So if we see, this business denotes busyness, that is the state of being busy. Any activity in which one keeps himself busy with can be said as the business. But the economic term of business refers something else. The economic term of business refers to work, efforts, and acts of people or human busy in connection with the production of wealth. That is what the economic term of business refers to. So business is the sum of total activities which are connected with the production or purchase and sale of the goods and services with the main objective to earn profit. So the main objective with which this activity is dealt with is earning profit. Earning profit is the prime objective or aim with which this activity or the economic activity, we can say, is been done. So this term business has been defined by various philosophers and thinkers and experts, and if we'll see, according to Urwick and Hunt, the definition of business, what he is saying is that business is any enterprise which makes, distributes, or provides any service with other members of the community need and are willing to pay for it. So the services or the commodities that the community wants, the business is rendering that, or the business is providing or distributing that. That is what is the definition of business according to Urwick and Hunt. So this is what business is. Now let's understand what is the nature of business, what is the nature of this economic activity is. So making use of scarce resources to the best advantage for the satisfaction of human wants is termed as economic activity. So this is what economic activity is, and these economic activities thus deal with the activities of living and making a living. So that is what this economic activities is dealing with. So for this purpose, every one of us follow an occupation according to our capacity, knowledge, or even according to the training that we are having. So one therefore may either follow a profession, that is rendering a specialized expert and personal services, or seek employment, undertaking to work for others according to terms and conditions set for the purpose. That means either we are going for a professional one, that means we are doing it according to our expertise, or we are an employee, or we are rendering that service to someone else instructions or someone else purpose we are fulfilling, or set up a business engaging in production of wealth. So this could be the economic activities that are there. Now let's understand that what are the characteristics of a business. What are the significant characteristics of a business that are there? So, business as an economic activity, as we have discussed, is having some features and characteristics. So, these characteristics and features, some of the important features and characteristics if we will discuss. The first and foremost is the production or acquisition of the goods. So, every business, whether small or large scale, deals with goods and services. So, every business that is existing is having or is dealing with some goods and services. That is the basic characteristic of every business irrespective of its size. The goods may produce, manufacture or procure. So, these services that we are rendering, the business that we are doing, the products that we are dealing with in the business could be produced, could be manufactured or even could be procured, that is okay. So, business is either to produce, we can say, to manufacture or procure, and then to supply for a price to those who are in need of the goods so produced, manufactured or procured. So, once we have the goods that are to be dealt with in the business, either we are producing it or we are manufacturing it or we are procuring it, we are supplying it for some prices to those who are in the requirement or need of those goods that we have manufactured, produced or procured. This is the first characteristics of business. The second important characteristic of a business, if you will see, is the profit. The profit is the basic motive of the business. Every business that we are doing or we are dealing with is backed up with the prime motive of making profit. So, profit is an essential part of business. In fact, profit is the motivation factor behind a business one carries on. So, that is the prime or the central thing around which the entire business is revolving. So, this profit is a stimulus and a guarantee to continue the business, and profit is the factor which ensures the survival of the business. So, the survival of the business depends even on this profit, and this is the stimulus and this is the guarantee which the business is getting on its continuity. So, the profit is the reward of all those individuals engaged in a particular business. So, this is also the reward that all the labor, all the pain or all the tasks that the business is doing for, this is the ultimate reward, that is the profit. And the efficiency of a businessman depends on the profit which he is able to make during the business operations. So, the profit of the business depends on the efficiency and the right operation of the business by the businessman. And if a businessman renders a singular service to the continuity by satisfying the needs of the people, he expected a reward for such a service rendered, and if he gets the double and redoubles his efforts and plans his future in such manner so as to render best possible service to the community. So, this is what the characteristics, if we will say, that the characteristic of the business is definitely what we had already said, that business means to be busy with some activity or busyness of the activity that is being done. So, the characteristics of a business, if we look into, the first and foremost characteristic of a business is the production or acquisition of a good. So, a good or a service is been there or it is inevitable while we are doing a business. So, that is the first and foremost characteristics. Second most important characteristic of a business is that the profit motive. Profit is the prime aim, prime goal, prime objective around which the entire business activity is revolving. That is the result or the reward, what we are saying, of all the tasks and events that a businessman is involved with. that is the ultimate reward that it is getting as the profit, and that profit is the one which is motivating the businessman to be engaged in that particular business activity. And also the profit is dependent on the efficiency and the effectiveness of the businessman and the doing of his activities. The well efficient the businessman is and the well managed and strategified the activities of the business is, the good profit the business will be earning. So these are the two characteristics. Apart from that, there are other several characteristics, like that is the risk, that is uncertainty of future. Uncertainty of future. So risk is inevitable while we are doing a business. So every business is involved with risk, or every business had uncertainty while carrying on its operations. So future is uncertain and business activity focus on future. So this focus on future and uncertainty of future naturally entails risk. So it is a risk which every businessman takes when he embarks upon a business activity. So the business activity, or we can say that business is always carrying the risk factor with it. When we are doing a business or we are involving in some business activity, we are definitely involving in a risk factor or uncertainty factor that is there in the future. Other important characteristic of business is dealing in goods and services. So business refers to goods and services dealt with a view to supply to those who need them and are ready to make payment for the same. Dealing in goods and services is business. So the goods may either be consumers goods like cloth, books, electronic appliances, medicines, etc., or producer goods like the machineries, tools, etc., or services even like the courier, the transport services, etc. So these goods could be of various types, as we have said, that it could be a consumer good, it could be a producer good, or even it could be a service that we are rendering and we are taking charge for that, or we are involving in that activity or making profit out of that activity. Apart from that, another important characteristic is the regular dealing. One of the important characteristic of business is regularity and recurrence. The business is not a single operation. A single operation would never constitute a business. So it should a regular and continuous entity. Recurrence of dealing is a must to constitute a business. So on selling furniture of his household with a view to replace it with new one is not business. But if the same person procures a variety of furnitures, keeps the stock and sells them to the consumers, he carries on a business dealing in furniture. So this is what the important characteristics of a business is. So apart from production and acquisition of goods and profit motive, there are other important characteristics of a business, that is uncertainty and risk, that is important characteristic of a business. So when we are dealing with business or when we are doing a business, definitely we are having risk or uncertainty attached to it. That means whenever there is business, existence of business is with the existence of risk or uncertainty. So risk is a factor which will always attached to business. Apart from risk, the business must deal with goods and services that are, it must be having or inculcating some goods. It might be a consumer good or it might be a producer's good. Even it can be a service that, for example, we can say the service of travel and tourism, service of hospitality. So these business could deal with these things. So these goods and services are definitely included while we are doing a business. So apart from this, the most significant thing that the business must be doing is the regular dealing of that thing. That is, regularity is the most important factor or most important characteristics, we can say, with the business. So for example, as we have said, if we have furniture at our place and we want to replace it with the new furnitures and we are selling our furnitures, then it is not a business. But if we are having a stock of furnitures, we are selling it out, making profit out of it, and we are regularly doing that, then it is a business. While we are not attaching regularity to the activity, then that is not a business. So these are the 5 important characteristics of a business. So we understand that what a business is, what is the nature of the business, and what are the characteristics of the businesses. So these are the basic things about a business. Now if we will observe and look, the business scenario or the concept of business has been changing from the old to the modern concepts. So there is a changing scenario of the business, or we can say that is modernization of the business, and this business is no more limited to only making profit. Apart from profit making, the business or the activities is taking along with it a lot more things nowadays. So let's have a look that what is these changing scenarios of the business. So this old concept and techniques of doing business are not relevant today, or nowadays this old concept of business is no more relevant. Everything from consumer demand to supply chain is evolving, and it is the requirement of the present scenario to be flexible enough to adapt to the changes. So there are lot of changes in the present scenario, and this scenario is the present scenario, and the business need to be very much flexible to adapt to the new scenarios or the changing scenarios that is there today in the modern business. Now what is this current business scenario, and what the businessman or the entrepreneur should do to be in the trend or to be performing well in this current business scenario? Let's have a look. So the first and foremost thing that is been seen in this modern business or in the current scenario is the consumer power is increasing. So if you'll see, in the present days the consumer power is increasing, or the consumers are more powerful, we can say. So the power of the consumer has increased many-fold nowadays in compared to the older days of doing the business, and the credit goes to the telecom revolution and the media. They have made this happen to the business, and these entrepreneurs need to accept this and act accordingly, according to the need and requirement of the consumers, and they need to go away with old techniques of attracting consumers and fulfilling their requirements. And it is important for business to recognize that consumer demand is changing, so supply also needs to change. So according to the demand of the consumers, or we can say that according to the changing demand of the consumers, the suppliers should always be ready to cater the needs as per the demand. So this consumer power is increasing, and this is the trend of the current business scenario. The next thing is the opportunity to scale is large. So if you see, the scaling a business is as important as starting it. The business is no more confined to startup, or the business is no more confined to just start a business, but scaling of business is important nowadays. There are 2 aspects of scaling, we can say. One is capacity building and the other is capability building. So many entrepreneurs just focus on capacity building and ignore the capability building aspect, but the capability building is more vital nowadays than the capacity building. The capacity could be increased by introducing latest techniques, machines, etc., And apart from capacity building, business owners should also organize training programs for their employees and make them up to date with the latest happenings. Thus, entrepreneurs focusing only on capacity building will definitely fail. Apart from that, now digitalization of the business is in the trend, and this online is not just an option nowadays. So both online and offline channels are important, no doubt in that. Many entrepreneurs make a mistake of just focusing on one channel and ignoring the other. There where is the mistake. So both the channels have their positive and negative sides if you look into, and there are certain businesses where online channel is playing an important role, but entrepreneurs should not ignore offline operations even. So don't look for either online or offline, as concentrating on both is the key. So don't take online as an option, but it is a must nowadays. This is an important thing to be in track with the changing scenario of the business. Apart from that, the culture that the business is practicing makes the difference in the business. So a company of great values and culture always attract the talent, and if employees are happy, they will try their best to make your brand a hit or the business brand a hit. So if there is a trust and happiness at the office, employees will work towards for the benefit of the organization. So a positive workplace culture increases productivity, improves employee morale, and enhance the ability to retain skilled manpower. So this culture of taking care of the employees at the workplace is definitely making the difference of doing and dealing with the business. Apart from that, the continuous evolution is happening, and this is because of the disruption. So one can use the words disruption and evolution simultaneously even. So what is happening in evolution, as we are not ready for it, we felt like being disrupted. So a huge evolution is happening in terms of innovation and changes. So be ready for the change and don't get disrupted. So connecting well with the consumers and employees is the key factor to grow further in this ever evolving business environment. So these are the key factors which can keep the business or the entrepreneur in track with the changing scenario of the business. So in today's class, we learnt that what a business is, what is the nature of the business, what are the important 5 features or characteristics of the business, and we have a look on the changing scenario of the business in due course of time, and we see that how the old concept of business, which is confined to only profit making and wealth maximization, has changed drastically in the current or present business scenario. Also, we learn that what are the key factors then that can make us to be in trend and make our business to run efficiently in this current business scenario. In our further classes, we will be discussing many other important things about the business environment. Keep watching. Thank you.